Okay, I want you to just close your eyes for a second. Picture the most wholesome cottagecore aesthetic you can possibly conjure up. I'm talking about a young, idealistic teacher in her 20s. She's wearing a patchwork dress that she probably sewed herself on some vintage machine.
Oh, yeah, I can picture it.
Right. And she's out there weaving actual lavender flowers into the chains of the playground swings, just to help the children feel calm. She is basically a modern-day Maria von Trapp from The Sound of Music, living in this complete bubble of sweetness, light, and, essential oils.
It's a very specific vibe. It screams safety, comfort, and perhaps a little bit of denial about the state of the real world.
Oh, absolutely. It is a fortress of cozy. Now, take that mental image you have and just drop a tactical nuclear weapon right on it.
Right.
Because in the story we're covering today, that bubble doesn't just pop. It gets riddled with automatic weapon fire.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you aren't in a musical anymore. You are in a high-stakes, blood-soaked crime thriller.
Yeah, where the dashing father of your favorite student isn't singing about Edelweiss. He's stabbing a mercenary in the neck while wearing a three-piece suit that probably costs more than your car.
Exactly. It is quite the genre pivot. But that contrast, the collision of the soft and the sharp, is exactly why this book has made such a massive splash in the contemporary romance community.
It's jarring by design.
It is the definition of emotional whiplash, and honestly, I am completely here for it. Welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today we're unpacking Behind Closed Doors by Shain Rose.
Yes, we are.
And this is the first entry in the Stonewood billionaire standalone romances. And let me tell you, it does a lot of heavy lifting to establish this shadow world known as the Diamond Syndicate.
It really does. And I think our mission today for this deep dive is to look past the surface level action, which, is plentiful.
Very plentiful.
But we want to understand the actual mechanics of the story. We want to unpack how Shain Rose takes that classic, beloved single dad and the nanny trope.
Which is usually so fluffy and light.
Exactly. And twists it into this extremely dark mafia romance.
Because usually the biggest conflict in a nanny romance is, I don't know, oh no, the kids put gum in my hair, or the dad is just too busy working at his corporate job.
Right.
Here, the conflict is, oh no, I've been kidnapped by a secret society and the dad is performing unauthorized surgery in the basement.
Yeah, that's a slight escalation.
Well,
we really need to talk about the psychology of captivity versus protection here. The allure of the competent monster, so to speak, and the serious moral gray areas that define the Diamond Syndicate.
because this book really asks you to accept some very questionable ethics in the name of loyalty and love.
It does. It pushes boundaries.
It's a fascinating mix. We've got kidnapping, secret panic rooms hidden under Persian rugs, basement surgeries, and a romance that thrives on some very intense power dynamics.
So buckle up. We are going behind closed doors.
Let's just start right at the beginning. The inciting incident. We are at Blackstone Academy.
And even the name Blackstone doesn't exactly scream finger painting and nap time, does it?
It sounds like a fortress.
That's completely intentional. The setting is a character in itself here. Blackstone Academy isn't your typical suburban elementary school with, bright primary colors and cartoon murals. It's described as this secluded old Gothic structure.
Lots of stone angles.
Yeah.
A central tower.
Yeah, it actually reminds the protagonist, Mia Darling, of medieval times.
Which is such a great bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Because medieval times were essentially defined by warlords, fortresses, and sieges, which is exactly where this story is heading.
Precisely. It sets a tone of isolation and ancient power. And in the middle of this imposing fortress, we have Mia Darling. She's in her 20s, she's a dedicated teacher, and she takes her job incredibly seriously.
Very seriously.
She has created this highly specific safe space for her 5 summer students.
She's almost aggressively wholesome. I mean, she's literally weaving crystals and lavender into the playground equipment.
Yeah.
It feels like she is trying to bubble wrap these kids' lives physically and metaphysically. Why do you think she does that?
Well, analytically speaking, it suggests a profound need for control. When someone is that focused on creating an environment of excessive safety and calm, it usually implies they are trying to hold back chaos from their own lives.
That makes a lot of sense.
She's trying to manifest peace because deep down she knows how fragile it actually is. And her favorite student, the one she feels most protective of, is Franny Knight.
Franny is such a crucial character for understanding the stakes here. She's only 7 years old, but she's described as an old soul.
Right.
She's Jameson Knight's daughter. And we learn pretty quickly that Franny carries some heavy, unresolved trauma.
She does. She tells Mia, my mommy didn't pick me up from school one day. Then she never came back. That is the defining wound of her young life.
That is just a gut punch. And it explains why a 7-year-old is so hypervigilant. She isn't just playing tag on the playground, she's scanning the perimeter,
Always watching.
always watching the horizon, waiting for her dad's car. She's terrified that he's going to vanish just like her mom did.
And that vigilance actually saves them. Because there's this pivotal moment on the playground. It's a beautiful summer day. The lavender is smelling great. Everything is calm. But Franny notices something is wrong before the adults do.
What does she see?
She sees the cars coming up the drive, and she recognizes the formation.
That's chilling, a 7-year-old recognizing a tactical vehicle formation.
It speaks volumes to the world she's been raised in behind the scenes. And then chaos just erupts.
It goes from 0 to 100 instantly.
Mhm.
Bullets start whizzing by. Xavier, the guard, because apparently this elementary school requires armed guards, starts yelling.
Right.
Now, usually in these situations, a civilian freezes or runs away.
Right.
But this is where we see Mia's true colors.
Absolutely. Mia is terrified. She's sheltered. She's never seen violence before. But her instinct is purely maternal. She doesn't run for herself. She grabs Franny, and amidst the gunfire, she makes what she calls a heart and pinky promise.
I love that detail so much. It's so childish, but so fiercely serious in the context of a shootout.
It's the anchor of their relationship. Franny is terrified, asking if it's going to be okay. And Mia, despite probably thinking they are about to die right there on the playground, promises her heart and pinky that everything will be fine.
That's a binding contract in kid law. You cannot break a pinky promise.
Exactly. And for Mia, it becomes a binding contract in life. She decides right then that she will keep that promise, even if it kills her. And it almost does. Archer, the head of security, rushes them inside the building. And this is where the normal school facade completely crumbles.
Oh, totally crumbles. Archer runs into the formal living room, yanks back this massive Persian rug, and reveals a hidden groove in the floor.
Yeah, the floorboards just swing up.
And underneath is a metal-lined bunker, a high-tech panic room, under rug in a school.
It's a fortress within a fortress. And for Mia, this is the moment the cognitive dissonance really hits. She realizes this isn't just a posh private school for rich kids. It's a facility designed for high-threat scenarios.
She's locked in there with Franny, watching the security feeds, while Archer goes back out to hold off the attackers.
And then he arrives.
Jameson Knight?
The father, the myth, the legend.
Up until this point, Mia just knows him as the attractive dad who is always punctual and wears impeccably tailored suits. Maybe a bit cold, perhaps a bit distant, but a normal, wealthy dad.
But on that security feed, she sees the reality.
She sees the violence. Jameson and his team arrives, and they aren't waiting for the police. They aren't calling 911. They are the judge, jury, and executioner.
There's a specific moment that traumatizes Mia here, and it's important to analyze why it affects her so deeply. She watches on the monitor as Jameson confronts one of the attackers. It isn't a fist fight. It isn't a warning shot.
No.
He stabs the man. Brutally. Efficiently.
It's the efficiency that scares her, I think. It's not a crime of passion. It's a chore. He kills the threat, wipes his hands, adjusts his suit, and then calmly tells Mia to unlock the panic room door.
It's the sheer compartmentalization of it. She sees him switch from dad mode, that warm, protective figure Franny loves, into killer mode without skipping a single beat. And when he comes down into that bunker, the switch flips back, but only halfway. He's gentle with Franny, checking her over, but he is ice cold to Mia. He realizes she's seen way too much.
She's a loose end. She's a civilian who has just witnessed a massacre committed by a secret organization. I mean, any other story, she'd be the witness the mob tries to silence permanently.
Exactly. She is a massive liability. So Jameson makes a calculated decision. He doesn't thank her. He doesn't give her a bonus for saving his kid.
Oh, he drugs her.
He drugs her.
For her own good, he claims, which is the classic line of every controlling anti-hero ever written. So she is sedated, put in a car, and whisked away. And this brings us to part 2 of our deep dive.
The gilded cage.
Yes. Mia wakes up, and the vibe has shifted completely. She's not at school anymore. She isn't in a hospital. She is handcuffed to a bed in a luxury estate.
Welcome to Paradise Grove.
Which sounds like a retirement community in Florida, but is actually something much more sinister.
Very sinister. It's an elite, gated enclave for the ultra-rich. It looks like a country club on the surface. Manicured lawns, fountains, perfect landscaping.
But it functions like a supermax prison.
Exactly. High walls, armed patrols, surveillance, absolutely everywhere. And this is where Jameson makes his offer.
If you could even call it that, it's way more of an ultimatum.
True. He tells Mia she has a choice. She can leave, in which case she will likely be hunted down and killed by the enemies she's now witnessed.
Because now she's a known associate. She's seen the faces of the attackers.
Precisely. They would tie up loose ends, or she can stay under his protection, in his house, subject to strict NDAs and his absolute rules.
So stay and be a prisoner in luxury, or leave and die. It's a classic coercive control setup, but it's framed as protection.
It is, and this is where the book asks the reader to suspend their modern moral judgment and buy into mafia logic. Jameson argues that by keeping her there, he is saving her life.
And technically he is.
Right, but he's also entirely stripping her of her autonomy.
Let's talk about Jameson Knight for a second. Because on the surface, he's perfect. He's a surgeon, a doctor. He saves lives. But underneath, he's the devil in disguise. That duality is fascinating.
That duality is the central pillar of his character. He uses his medical skills, yes, but he's the leader of the Diamond Syndicate. He is incredibly regimented. Mia notes that he wears different versions of the exact same suit every day.
Wow.
He's a creature of habit and total control. He needs order to function in this chaotic underworld.
And Mia is pure chaos to him. She's emotional, she's messy, she talks back.
She disrupts his control. He views her as a liability first, then an employee, but underneath all that, she's becoming an obsession. He can't stand that she challenges him.
And she really does challenge him. That's what I love about Mia. She's terrified. She's literally handcuffed to a piece of furniture, but she's still sassy. Do you think that's just a defense mechanism?
Oh, absolutely. It's a sort of reclaim agency. If she can't control her location or her physical safety, she can at least control the conversation. She mocks him. She pokes at his composure. And interestingly enough, that works on him. It intrigues him. If she were just a weeping, compliant victim, he might have ignored her. But because she fights back, she earns his respect, even if he finds it highly annoying at first.
Before we get to the romance, though, we need to understand the world she's trapped in. We keep mentioning the Diamond Syndicate. What is their deal? Are they just the mob?
They are and they aren't. Their motto is, "A diamond remains unbroken." They view themselves as distinct from common criminals or street cartels. They see themselves as peaceful dealmakers.
Peaceful dealmakers who stab people in panic rooms. I mean, the cognitive dissonance is incredibly strong with these guys.
It is. They value logic over emotion. They believe they are doing necessary evils to maintain order and shape the country from behind the scenes.
Like the Illuminati, almost.
A bit, yes. They have massive influence in politics, business, real estate. They see themselves as the puppet masters who keep the really bad guys, like the violent drug cartels, in check.
So they're the lesser of two evils, at least in their own minds. And Jameson is the king. But he's not alone. We have to talk about the supporting cast because they add so much flavor to this world.
Absolutely. You can't understand the Syndicate without understanding the people around Jameson. First, you have Hades.
Jameson's brother.
Yes. If Jameson is the cold, logical leader, Hades is the enforcer. He is described as monotone and absolutely terrifying. Mia literally compares him to the god of death. He represents the pure, unapologetic violence of the organization.
And then there's Archer, the security guy who saved them at the school. He seems to be the only one with a bit of a soft spot for Mia.
He's the bridge. He's fiercely loyal to Jameson, but he sees Mia's value as a human being, not just a problem to be managed. But the really interesting dynamic, and honestly where the book does some fascinating sociological work, is with the women of the Syndicate.
Yes. Rosie, Pink, and Olive. I have to admit, I was expecting the women in this mafia world to be silent, suffering wives, or just mean girls competing with each other, but they are hilarious.
They are great characters. Rosie is the housekeeper and cook, but she reveals she was born into this life. She acts as Mia's first real friend in the house. Then you have Pink and Olive, who are wives of other high-ranking members, Bane Black and Dimitri.
They are not what you'd expect at all. They are meddlers. They are masterminds in their own right.
Exactly. They serve a very specific function in the narrative. They normalize the violence. There's this scene where they are prepping for a girls' night, and they are casually discussing how their husbands are tracking their locations or the dangerous politics of their world, all while picking out heels.
Just casual Tuesday night mafia talk.
Right, and they try to integrate Mia into this mindset.
They're basically saying, look, this is the water we swim in. You better learn to swim or you're going to drown.
They want her to stop fighting the reality of her situation and learn to navigate it. They actually see what's happening between Mia and Jameson before even Mia admits it. They act as the Greek chorus of the book, constantly pushing them together.
Speaking of pushing them together, let's get into the romance.
Yeah.
Because we have some serious forced proximity happening here. Mia is technically the nanny now. She's living in the house, teaching Franny, and trying her best to avoid Jameson.
Which is completely impossible in a house that, despite its massive size, feels very small when the sexual tension is that high. The tension is built on this constant push and pull. Jameson criticizes her. He mocks her pajamas. He criticizes her quote-unquote unprofessionalism while simultaneously lusting after her.
The pajama scene. He tells her her pajamas are unprofessional, but you know he's just mad because he thinks she looks cute, and it distracts him from his very serious mob boss duties.
It's all about control. He can't control his attraction to her, so he tries to control her wardrobe instead. It's petty, but it shows how rattled he is. But the real turning point, the moment where the dark romance genre really slams home, is the basement scene.
Oh my God, the basement. This is not a let's go watch a movie and play ping pong in the basement situation.
Yeah, no, not at all. Mia goes down there looking for a snack.
As one does. Late night munchies.
And she stumbles into a full-blown operating theater. Jameson is performing surgery on a man who has been shot.
And this is where the doctor and the mob boss identities violently crash together. He's saving a life, but it's a criminal life, and he's doing it in his basement because they can't go to a hospital without a ton of questions being asked.
Right. Most people would run screaming. Mia stays.
She doesn't run.
She challenges him right there, asking what he's doing, and Jameson reveals that this is his reality. He operates on the people who society and the law can't or won't help.
And weirdly, this is where the spark turns into a fire. Why is that? It seems so counterintuitive to a normal romance. Hey, you're wrist deep in someone's internal organs? That's so hot.
It's a very common trope in dark romance. It's often called the competence kink mixed with high stakes. It's the classical juxtaposition of eros, which is love and sex, and thanatos, which is death. You have blood, surgery, life and death stakes, and in the middle of all of it, intense sexual tension. The danger acts as an aphrodisiac. It strips away all the polite pretense. Mia sees the literal blood on his hands and doesn't flinch.
That's the key. She doesn't flinch. She accepts his reality, the dark side of him. And I think that's when Jameson decides she's his.
This is exactly where we get the term sanctum.
Yes, explain this. It sounds incredibly religious.
It is, in a way. The syndicate uses almost religious terminology for their internal code. In the syndicate, a sanctum is a woman who belongs to a high-ranking member. She is untouchable. She has sacred territory.
Wow.
If anyone hurts a sanctum, the retribution is scorched earth, total war. Jameson internally designates Mia as his sanctum way before he actually tells her about it.
That's wildly possessive. He's practically marking his territory. She's mine. Nobody touch her. But of course, Mia doesn't know any of this yet. She just thinks he's a jerk who is also surprisingly good at stitching up bullet wounds.
And this tension boils over during the Chicago trip.
The girls' night out.
Exactly. Mia goes out with Rosie, Pink, and Olive to a club in Chicago. Jameson, being the absolute control freak he is, tracks them.
He's jealous. He can't handle her being out in the wild where other men can see her.
It leads to the balcony scene. Jameson confronts her at the club. He asserts his ownership. He literally says, "You're mine."
It's a very intense confrontation.
It is, and it's physical. There's a spanking involved, which is a display of dominance, but also intimacy. But what's fascinating here analytically is the power dynamic shift. Mia realizes something massive in this moment.
What does she realize?
She realizes that while he is physically stronger and holds all the cards socially and financially, she actually has power over him.
Because he loses it around her.
Yes. He loses his legendary control when she is around. He is unhinged by her. That gives her leverage in a world where she previously had none.
That's a great point. He's the puppet master of the country, but she's the only one who can cut his strings.
Right.
But here is the elephant in the room. Why does she accept this? Why doesn't she run away or call the police the first chance she gets in Chicago?
That brings us to Mia's backstory. And this is crucial for understanding the psychology of the entire book. Without this context, Mia just seems foolish or naive. We learn that Mia was abused by a coach in college.
Coach Budkin.
Right, a pillar of the community, a so-called good guy. And when Mia tried to tell people, specifically her own mother, she wasn't believed. Her mother told her to be a darling, to keep the peace.
Yeah, darling. That phrase must just haunt her. It basically means, shut up and take it, don't cause a scene.
Exactly. It taught her a horrific lesson, that safe institutions and good people won't protect her. The law failed her, her family failed her, the whole system failed her.
And then here comes Jameson. He's a criminal, he's violent, he's technically her kidnapper, But when she tells him about the coach,
He believes her immediately. He reacts with protective rage. He doesn't ask what she was wearing. He doesn't tell her to keep the peace. He just wants a name so he can handle it.
that is the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
She trusts Jameson because he offers the one thing the legal world entirely denied her: validation and absolute protection.
Precisely. In her eyes, the monster who protects you is better than the citizen who ignores you. It's a sad commentary on her past, but it makes her choices completely logical within the narrative framework of the story.
So things are heating up. Trust is building between them. But this is a thriller, so there has to be a twist. And it involves a door.
The mystery of the locked door. Throughout the book, there is the specific door in the house with ivy carvings. It's strictly off limits. Mia assumes it's a shrine to Jameson's dead wife, Lex.
Because that's the story he sold her, right? Lex died or disappeared.
That's the official narrative. Jameson claims she disappeared and died. We know she abandoned Franny at school that day, mirroring Franny's worst fear. We're told she was involved with Paolo, a rival cartel leader, and betrayed the diamonds.
But then the reveal happens, and it's not a dusty shrine behind that door.
No. Franny sees her mommy in the hallway.
Wait, Franny actually sees her? That's incredibly traumatic for a little kid.
It's chaotic. Mia realizes something is very wrong and enters the locked room, and there she is, Lex. Alive.
She's been in the house the whole time? Like Jane Eyre, the mad woman in the attic.
Very similar literary vibes. It's a direct allusion to the mad woman in the attic trope. She's been hiding in the locked room. It turns out she wasn't dead. She was in hiding, and Jameson knew all along.
That is a massive betrayal. Mia has been falling for this guy, thinking he's a grieving widower, and his wife is literally down the hall watching TV.
It's complicated. Lex is portrayed as cold, arrogant. She even calls Mia a mistress to her face. It's a total gut punch for Mia. She confronts Jameson, and he admits he suspected Lex was alive and hiding there, but he kept it from Mia to protect the syndicate's secrets.
Mia feels so used. There's a great line she says during this fight: "I fell out of love with you as easily as opening this door."
It's a powerful, devastating moment. It shatters the fragile trust they had just built. Mia attempts to leave. She breaks up with him, or tries to anyway, and retreats to a hotel with Olive.
And Jameson takes this well, I assume.
Yeah.
Being the calm, rational guy he is.
Oh, as well as a sociopathic billionaire can. He destroys his office. He goes on an absolute rampage. He sends thousands of flowers to the hotel.
But flowers aren't going to cut it this time. Not after finding the secret wife hiding in the spare room.
No, flowers are entirely insufficient. He needs a grand gesture. But because this is a dark romance, the grand gesture isn't holding a boombox outside her window or writing a poem.
It's murder.
Well, let's call it permanent justice. Jameson tracks down Coach Butkin.
The abusive coach from her past.
Yeah.
The source of her original trauma.
Yes. He finds him, and it is heavily implied that Jameson and his men handle the coach. He removes the source of her pain permanently from the world.
Wow. That is morally complicated, to say the least, but undeniably effective in this specific genre.
It works for Mia. When he reveals this to her, she realizes that Jameson is the only one who has ever truly protected her. He listened, he believed her trauma, and he acted on it. The law wouldn't touch the coach, but Jameson did.
And that's the resolution. She accepts her place in his dark world.
She formally accepts the title of Sanctum. They reconcile. Jameson commits to protecting her and Franny above all else. The innocent nanny becomes the queen of the underworld, essentially.
So let's unpack the broader themes here.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot going on beneath the surface of the steamy romance.
The biggest theme is definitely morality versus loyalty. The book asks you to root for the bad guys. The syndicate are criminals, they kill people, they manipulate governments, but they have a code.
A diamond remains unbroken.
Exactly. They value loyalty above all. Contrast that with the other bad guys like the cartel or even the coach. The coach preyed on the weak while pretending to be good. The syndicate, in their own twisted way, protects their own and owns their darkness.
It's that idea of our monster. He's a monster, yes, but he's my monster.
And that ties perfectly into the theme of trauma and trust. Both protagonists are heavily traumatized. Jameson was betrayed by his wife who left their child to the wolves. Mia was betrayed by her coach and her own family.
So their entire relationship is built on relearning trust, which is super ironic considering it literally starts with a kidnapping and forced captivity.
It is a massive paradox. They learn to trust through a captor and captive dynamic. It suggests that safety is subjective. For Mia, safety isn't the law or the police. It's a terrifying man who simply won't let anyone hurt her.
And we can't forget the total inversion of the nanny trope we talked about at the top.
Oh, absolutely. Usually the nanny story is sweet. It's the sound of music. Here, Shain Rose takes that sweetness Franny's patchwork dresses, the lavender on the playground, and violently slams it against guns, panic rooms, and basement surgeries. It creates this friction that drives the entire story forward.
It's like Mary Poppins if Mary Poppins carried a Glock.
And if Mr. Banks was a mafia don running a shadow government.
Exactly. So we've gone from Blackstone Academy to the very top of the Diamond Syndicate. It's a wild journey.
It really questions the nature of power, protection, and what we are willing to forgive for the people we love.
I want to leave you in the thought. We talked about how the law failed Mia. So here's the provocative question to mull over. In a world where the good systems fail you, like with Mia's coach, is a monster who protects you actually better than a good citizen who just ignores you?
That is the fundamental question at the heart of this genre. Is safety defined by following rules or by getting results?
Something to explore on your own. And remember, this world continues. The source material hints heavily at future stories involving Callahan, that's Jameson's brother, and other members of the Syndicate.
The Diamond Syndicate is really just getting started. There are a lot more stories behind those closed doors.
Indeed there are. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Behind Closed Doors by Shain Rose. We'll catch you on the next one.
Stay curious.
And stay safe. Goodbye.